Welcome back. Here are some Am I the A-Hole stories. Thank you to XO Cloudy O and Requested Reads for these stories.
AITA for not inviting my sister to my wedding because she didn't invite me to hers. I'm 24F and I'm getting married in a few weeks. 7 years ago my sister got married and I was so excited. I talked to her about the wedding, what dress I'll wear and if I could help her plan it, and she was always dismissive, and a few weeks before the wedding she told me that it would be 18 plus. She said she wanted to exclude annoying kids and made this rule and she can't make exceptions. She also said I was too young for the adult atmosphere and whatever. My 18th birthday was a week after the wedding. I was devastated and I begged my sister to let me come. I really wanted to be there and support her. My stepmom refused to go to the wedding as a result of that, and my dad almost divorced her over that, among other things. I eventually accepted it and I told my sister that I would not invite her to my wedding. She scoffed and laughed and said I was being immature and I'll forget about it. My fiance's dad owns a massive yacht company. They rent out yachts, make repairs and sell equipment. The wedding party will take place on a yacht which can accommodate 200 guests. She asked me about the wedding and I flat out told her she wasn't invited. She said I was being petty and how hurtful I was and that her reasons were justified and it's in the past. To be honest, I feel she just wants to be on the yacht and not so much support me. I told her that she should have thought about that back then, and now she understands how I feel and that she's only jealous that my wedding will be better than hers. My dad called me and said I need to stop being petty and invite her and other family agree. I told them no, and after some arguing they respected it. My sister is being a BTCH about it on Facebook.
I'm going to say you're not an a-hole, but it is very petty. Here we have a comment from Man Triller Inti Medmig. It's pretty petty, yes. Was she petty for not inviting you when your 18th birthday was a week after the wedding? Yes. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my boyfriend's food on his birthday and getting him banned from the restaurant? I, 18 female, have been dating my boyfriend John, 20 male, for a little under a year. We have a pretty toxic free relationship, but there's quite a bit of tension when it comes to me being a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian since 11, and I have very strict morals around it. The one thing John has a problem with is me refusing to spend my money on meat. Ever since I started making my own money, I swore to myself that I would never spend a cent of it on meat. Our dates, we usually split the bill, and sometimes he pays for it all. I told him if he orders something meat-free, I'd happily pay for both of us, but he never does. When he pays for my food, it's when I've spent money on an activity, normally concerts or festivals. That's me paying about $120 on tickets and him spending maybe $50 on food. His birthday was a few days ago and we went out for dinner at his favorite fancy restaurant. He got the most expensive steak they had, along with a side salad and a bottle of wine. When we finished our food, I asked the waiter to split the bill, and John looked at me shocked. He asked if I was joking, and I said no. Then he told me he thought I was going to pay since it was his birthday and he didn't budget for the meal. I asked him why he thought I'd pay since I'd been very clear about my rule, but he couldn't give me a reason other than it was his birthday. I told him I'd pay for the wine and side salad, but he'd need to pay for the steak. He was furious with me and stormed off to the bathroom. I paid for my meal, the wine, and the salad, and waited for him to come back. He didn't. After waiting for 20 minutes, I left. I found him sitting on a bench near where we parked the car. I asked him why he left and reminded him he needed to pay. He looked shocked when I said that and asked me if I didn't pay. I told him I'd paid for everything but the meat, and he lost it. He started yelling at me, telling me I was selfish, that I needed to grow up. I stayed calm and told him he needed to go back and pay. He scoffed and walked away. I ended up driving home without him. Now he's saying it's my fault that he can't show his face in his favorite restaurant since he dined and ditched. It's a pretty small restaurant, so he'd 100% be recognized and kicked out. So, am I the a-hole? All right, so here's an edit. To the people commenting about me not treating him on his birthday, yes, I did. I even dipped into my savings for his present. Edit 2, I did not take him out for dinner. He was the one that suggested it. Not the a-hole. Ignoring the vegetarian stuff, who the heck orders the most expensive steak possible and then expects their partner to pay for them without having checked prior? And then storming off to the bathroom expecting that to pressure you into paying for it. I hope you can see all the huge red flags here. I'm going to have to agree with him. You're not the a-hole. He knew from the time you guys were dating what your stance was on vegetarian and meat. And I'm sure you had that discussion with him that you would not spend a cent on any kind of meat products. He should have known that even if it was his birthday, you still held to your standards. He shouldn't have tried to force you to pay for something that he knew you weren't going to pay for in the first place.
AITA for calling my girlfriend selfish and an awful person? I, 24 meters, recently started dating Kate, 25F. Kate and I met through mutual friends and things have been going really well. Because of COVID, a bar right around the corner from her apartment has offered cocktails to go, so I usually pick them up and head to her house every Friday. Yesterday, I was standing around and waiting for our drinks looking on my phone when a girl approached me and whispered, "I need your help. Please, I'll give you anything." She sounded truly desperate, so I looked up, confused. There was a creepy looking guy following her right towards me. Feet 5 inches and fairly muscular, so I'm sure that's why she chose me. I understood what she needed and put my arm around her as protectively as I could. Then the bartender handed me our drinks and I gave Kate's to the girl so it wasn't suspicious. When the guy saw me about 2 feet away, he stopped short. I gave him my most intimidating look and asked if he needed something. He said no and walked off. I reordered Kate's drink and walked the girl to her car. She thanked me profusely and gave me money for the drink, which I refused. I walked off as soon as I saw her safely drive out of the parking lot. When I got to Kate's apartment, she asked what took so long and I told her the story. She was pissed. She said it was incredibly disrespectful of me to act like I had a different girlfriend and to give her my real girlfriend's drink. I was taken aback because I thought she'd be happy I helped that girl out of that situation. Our fight escalated and she kept saying how I basically cheated until I lost it and said, "I'd take you being uncomfortable over a girl getting raped, murdered any fucking day. Disagree, you're selfish and an awful person." She kicked me out of her apartment and we still haven't talked. Most of my friends think I was in the right, but one of my female friends thinks that I shouldn't have given her the drink, so it was kind of disrespectful. That made me unsure, so AITA?
All right, here are some comments. You did the right thing. You probably saved her from a nightmare. Next comment, not the a-hole. Kate is a red flag. Yeah, run. And the next comment, not the a-hole. Kate may not appreciate it, but the rest of us do. I'm going to go and say that you are not the a-hole. You are helping out a female that needed help, and your girlfriend not understanding that. I think you need to run. She doesn't seem like an understanding girlfriend, and she doesn't care about other people. You probably saved that girl from whatever that guy intended to do. You're not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling a pregnant woman to sit on the ground instead of giving her my seat? My nephews both graduated from high school this morning and I wanted to sit up front, so I camped out a bit in front of the entrance. I brought my folding chair and my headphones to listen to the show. So about 40 minutes before the school let us inside, a pregnant woman got next to me. Since someone let her in line, I assumed her partner. She asked me within 5 minutes, politely, if she could have my chair, as she was going to have trouble standing the whole time. I said, "No, sorry, I need it more. I have bad feet and knees," and went back to my things. She asked me again within 2 minutes, and the answer was the same. She, however, got a little mad at me and said that she was going to be struggling the whole time and asked her partner to tell me. He asked me himself politely, and I again responded that sorry, but I need it more, and suggested she could wait in her car or just sit on the ground. At this point, the husband directly called me an a-hole, but left me alone. Am I the a-hole? Now, we do have some responses to this. The first one is from Realistic Head 4279. Not the a-hole. You refused to give up the chair you brought because you needed it due to your own health conditions. I do feel for the woman, but she and her partner should have brought their own chairs and not assumed they were entitled to yours. Another comment from mbird420. I get where you're coming from, but I'm not even angry. LOL. I understand it's hard when you're pregnant to do certain things, to stand around for a while. I've been pregnant 3 times. It's not easy getting around, but if I knew I was gonna have to wait on something, it would have been more beneficial for me to bring my own chair. That way I knew I had a place to sit. So unfortunately, I wouldn't have asked somebody else for their chair. They brought their chair for themselves. I'd be a little jealous that they brought their chair. However, I should have brought my own, or, I always have the car. Roll down all the windows, sit in the car until they open the doors. That way I'm more comfortable instead of standing outside. I'm going to say you're not the a-hole. You didn't intentionally start the day just to be rude to somebody. You brought the chair for yourself. And you did politely tell them no twice, and they still bothered you for it. But I'm still going to say you're not the a-hole.